hope she's okay.
There we go. It's a Friday extravaganza here on the Daily Punk Drop. We come live every day at 10 a.m. on YouTube and Twitter. Appreciate you watching the show. You can, of course, listen to the show as well on the Puck Sports mobile app. Download it today to your iPhone and your Android phone. Go to the Google Play Store for your Android phone, iOS Store for your iPhone, also Apple CarPlay. If you like to watch it later, everything is always up on YouTube, Puck Sports. Please subscribe to the channel, like it, leave comments. We try to get to as many as we possibly can. And, of course, Puck Sports and the Daily Puck Drop, everything available on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, whatever you choose, all podcast platforms. Of course, you can find everything up at pucksports.com. Coming up on the show today, Masters, it's almost here. We'll get into that. There's another Luis Castillo, an announcement, a new show joining the Puck Sports family. And then, of course, we got the Scout, our anonymous baseball scout, coming up at the end of the show today. No Chris Egan today. He's on assignment. He's on assignment. But joining us, I believe, from a side of a road as he's headed to Pullman for Dad's Weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jim Moore, brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, I'm brought to you by a Clean Streak professional window and exterior cleaning service, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years up there out of Oak Harbor. They do it all from gutter cleaning, pressure washing, streak-free window washing. Try out their pressure washing this week. You don't want that dirty job. You get all wet, you're soaked. Just have Brian Turner and his crew show up. Let him pressure wash your driveway, your patio, your deck, your siding. Get it all done with a cleanstreak.com. For a free estimate, call 360-395-5748, or as I mentioned, their website, cleanstreak.com.
What's the over-under and how many minutes you last with your internet connection?
5.5.
That's about it. I would probably I'm going to take the under.
Well, I was really torn on what to do because I'm trying to get to Pullman for Parents' Weekend, and it's like 400 miles from Bend to Pullman, and yet I'm trying to find a spot. I was just going like a bat out of fucking hell to get to I-84 where I thought there'd be a good connection, but I knew that between Madras and Biggs Junction there wouldn't be a good connection, so I'm risking life and limb for pucksports.com to try and find a good spot. I'm right here on the Columbia River, and sure as shit, it's not working out again. And I apologize to you, the listeners. If you want to get rid of my old ass, I'm fine with that because I'm sick of my fucking shit all the time if I'm you, okay? And I'm tired of it too, just personally speaking, because I try and, I'm not trying to fuck up. I'm really not. I really want this to work. I want this to be a good Wi-Fi signal so that people can hear my brilliant analysis and insight. And yet it just seems like every fucking time it doesn't fucking work. And I'm sick and fucking tired of it. Like, if I'm a listener, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Why do you even have this asshole on your show?
It's a lot of swearing
so that's where
going
I am
on
with this. I'm frustrated, but I'm heading to Pullman. I'm excited to be going back to God's country. I'm going to see my kids. I'm going to be drinking Jack Daniels later. I'm going to stop at Canyon Lakes, and I'm going to hit the driving range there to work on my game. I'll be on the first tee at Palouse Ridge, aiming for Brian Tower at 12:03 tomorrow, and fuck everything else. Okay, so that's where I am right now. But I'm here for you for 5.5 minutes anyway.
Hey, Scott wants a birthday shout out. Happy birthday to Scott Y. Big happy. What birthday is it for Scott? Hey, hit me up. I don't know what it is, but happy birthday to Scott. And happy Friday to everybody else. Casey checking in. We got Robert saying happy Friday. We've made it a week. Todd. Who else do we got? We got S Overstreet. He's got happy Friday. So there you go. Okay. Well, if we got you for 5.5 minutes, hopefully, we'll make it work. As you're pulled off on, where are you at exactly? Are you in Madras?
No, Biggs Junction.
Oh,
It's
Biggs
along
Junction.
I-84.
Okay.
it's right where it's between the Dalles and Pendleton, and if you go up the hill, you hit Goldendale and Yakima, and you hit Wapato, the home of Dan Dornick Field. You head that way, or if you head east, you go to Pendleton and Boise. You head west, you hit Portland. That's
There
where
you
I
go.
am. I'm right on the Columbia River.
Beautiful spot. Love Pendleton. Went to Pendleton many times when I was working in Oregon. Was working at in Portland. We would call the 2A. It was actually Herman. No, was it Hermiston? No, it was Pendleton. Yeah, we would call the 2A basketball championships were held there. So I spent many a years there in Pendleton, Oregon. Also, that's where the Roundup is. Very famous for the Pendleton Roundup. It's a wonderful part of Oregon.
Pendleton Roundup. Yeah, they've got a great golf course there at the casino too. Played that the last time I was here, and that was the end of Mikey's college baseball career, junior college baseball career, playing at a field right next to the penitentiary there. If you were an inmate, you could have looked out your window and watched the game. That was quite a scene.
Could you, if you were an inmate, could you go participate in the game?
No, I don't think so. But I think you could have been a fan and just, watched from the prison yard there.
Do they play? What do you think when someone's in prison? We always hear of like prison football or the guys lifting weights. Is there ever like I bet you could put together a pretty good prison baseball team.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I think, they'd all be pretty good at stealing bases.
Stealing bases.
What do you want from me?
The lost art form of baseball, stealing bases. God, it's just not what it was. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think you could get a good game there in the prison. It'd be better in football, though. Baseball, there'd be some players there, some prospects.
Yeah. If we're at 5.5 minutes, we may hit the under on this one. We never know. All right, so you're driving there to Pullman. You got Dad's Weekend, Parents Weekend. You're golfing. What else are we doing? Is there a football scrimmage at all? Is there a baseball game? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think tonight we'll be hitting the local Mexican joint, that one that's on the corner. We'll be going to that. Tomorrow, yeah, we just have golf. We'll probably get together with Stevie's girlfriend's parents for breakfast tomorrow at the Old European. And then maybe Sunday breakfast over in Moscow. I think you've got a suggestion to go to breakfast over in Moscow, don't you?
Oh, there's two good. Well, there's the Breakfast Club, which is really if you want real breakfast, the Breakfast Club is going to be your spot. But there's also, I never can remember. I'll remember the name of it. There's a coffee shop that's on the corner that's down the street from the Breakfast Club that has the best breakfast burrito in the world. But you don't want to go there. It's because it's like a cafe. But the Breakfast Club is your spot in Moscow. It's very good.
Why is downtown Moscow so much better than downtown Pullman?
It's a question I've wondered many times. I'm not sure why it's so much better. I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries in life, Jim. I can't tell you. I don't know why.
But it's not debatable. I mean, Moscow greater than Pullman, and we love Washington State. We love our school, but as far as cities go, Moscow's a better city than Pullman.
100%. It's better. There's nothing else. There's nothing else like it. It's not even comparable at all. Hey, did you see who the Mariners are starting tonight as they start their 3-game series with the Giants? Luis F. Castillo.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what they're doing. Whatever their reasoning was for sending Hancock down, and I understand that he gave up 6 runs in the top of the first inning the other night. It was not his best performance. And yes, there were some broken bat singles that looped in. He had some bad luck along with bad pitching. So I understand all of that. But do you really send a guy down that was halfway decent last year, who's been your 6th starter for the longest time now? And then isn't that a blow to his confidence? I was surprised by that when they made that move. It's like, come on, man, you just need to flush that start. and at least give him one more opportunity. And if he pitches horribly the next time, or even the time after that, then go ahead and send him to Tacoma. But I don't get why they made that move, nor do I understand why they messed with the order of the rotation. Why don't they have Miller going today and Wu going tomorrow, and then have Luis with a different middle initial, Castillo, pitch on Sunday against the Giants? I didn't understand any of it. Maybe you can explain it to me.
Because they were trying to keep him normal and give him an extra day because early in the season.
Well, they had the day off. I don't get. They could have gone with a 4-man rotation if they wanted to.
Sure, but they wanted,
But
because earlier in the season they wanted to give him they wanted to give him more rest. I mean, I don't have an issue with that at all. I mean, Hancock, I mean, he had one bad start. I mean, Emerson Hancock, we get into it today with the scout. The scout has a good breakdown on Emerson Hancock. And I think that, the expectations for Emerson Hancock should be, tempered a bit, and just in terms of, he's a nice number 5 starter, but, and a 6 guy. With this group, he's not in the rotation. He can't bust this rotation, and he never will be in this rotation as long as they still have all these guys. But I think he's got good stuff. But as the scout says, he just doesn't have great stuff. But yeah, I mean, was it an overreaction to one start? Yeah, I think a little bit. It was probably an overreaction to it. I didn't think he was as bad as people made it out to be. I thought he had some bad luck. But yeah, for a guy that you were depending on, that you've built up, because the common thought was, they're not necessarily with Hancock, but when Kirby went down, you said, well, this is why you don't trade somebody like Luis Castillo, because of injuries like this, and they've always praised what Emerson Hancock can be, but I don't. He's just not on the level of those other guys in the rotation.
No, I understand that, but I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't understand. Like, if you're going to bring this different Castillo up and have him start today, well, why would you do that against Justin Verlander? Why would you do that the Giants home opener? There's a lot of fanfare there in San Francisco for this home opener today. It doesn't seem like a good setting.
Sure.
I mean, you're setting him up for a disaster, if you ask me. Now, what's going to happen is that Luis F. Castillo will probably go 7 innings, 2-hit ball, and they'll beat the Giants and spoil their home opener. So, I mean, just like the other day we had talked about, well, they're not going to beat Skubal. If they can't hit a team's fifth starter, how are they going to hit the ace of the Tigers, who won the Cy Young Award last year? And sure enough, they put together enough good fortune and a few good hits to win that game 3-2 the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's over for Hancock, and I don't know. Maybe he's dealing with something. I mean, they haven't said anything. Maybe they don't want to tip their hand at all. Maybe they don't like the matchup with the Giants and they don't want to show them. I don't know. I mean, there's multiple reasons maybe why they didn't want to start him today or have him back in the rotation. Maybe there was just something that they saw, in that first start against Detroit, that he was tipping his hand, he was doing something. They want him to work on something in particular. God, who knows? I mean, I think when he's come up here, he hasn't exactly wowed anybody with his stuff. I mean, go back last year. What did he make? 4 or 5 starts? His ERA was right around 5. It's not like he's come in here and I think he's blown people away, and where people are like, well, they if they trade one of these guys, because that's the thing. If they trade one of these young guys ever, you can't say, well, we have an option in Emerson Hancock, because I don't think he's a guy you just slide right in.
Yeah, well, okay, but he's typical of a 5th starter on a mediocre rotation. So I just, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. And there was certainly a lot of thought that went into it. I'm sure Dan Wilson and Jerry Dipoto just didn't willy-nilly go, oh, let's just send him to Tacoma. He was horrible in the first inning against Detroit.
Right.
There was a lot that went into it, but I don't know. I just think you're messing with. I just get into the mental aspect of the game probably more than I should, but they're really fucking with his confidence, if you ask me.
Well, but maybe part of it, and I don't disagree with that. Maybe part of it is that they send him down because they saw some lost confidence. They want to see him get some confidence back in Tacoma.
Okay. I like you being the devil's advocate there. I mean, I like how you're going yin for yang here, and
Right.
you're offering the level-headed side of things as opposed to my side of things, which is more confrontational and controversial and that kind of thing.
So Luis F. Castillo goes tonight from Alex Mayer of the Mariners. It's the first time two pitchers with the same name have started since Bobby Jones. Two Bobby Jones started for the Mets on July 3rd and July 4th back in 2000. Only Alex Mayer of the Mariners, who works in their baseball information department, can come up with that and has the research and the knowledge and the time and the effort to come up with that.
Well, okay, now if you're Alex Mayer, Puck, and you specialize in finding these fun facts, these little known fun facts about different things that are going on. Like the other night, he had one about a pitcher that, oh, it was about Scooble, going back. He pitched at Seattle U, and then how long ago was it? Did a pitcher pitch, where he pitched in college and won the game or lost the game 3-2 or whatever? But if you're Alex Mayer, when do you reach the point in your research? Because he's even has to have a point too when he's looking for this little trivial factoid that he's looking for. I mean, what's the over under on how many minutes or hours he will spend to get to the bottom of something? Because that guy's got to have a limit. It looks like he doesn't have a limit. Like he's going to stay up overnight to try and find this fun fact so he can throw it out there on Twitter so that we can all go, oh shit, Alex, that's awesome. Nobody else could have come up with this.
Oh.
But he's got to have a limit. Like, is it 57 and a half minutes? I know it's longer than my Wi-Fi signal is going to hold up today. But I mean, what is it? He's got to have a limit. I don't get it. And is that something you put on your resume when you're trying to climb the ladder? That I'm really good at finding fun facts.
Well, it sounds like you're disparaging him that he comes up with these cool notes.
I'm not disparaging him. I think it's kind of
sure
cool.
Sounds like it.
Well, no, I mean he's known for that stuff, but I think he's really good at other shit too. But we don't know about that.
Well, yeah, because what do you want to know if he's good at cooking and like what he does in his off time? I mean, we know him because
I don't know what the hell I want to know. Just answer my question, would you? God, now I'm getting all jerky with the camera too.
What's the question?
Yeah,
what's the question?
Answer my question. How long? What's his limit on? You know what? I'm done trying to fun fact search this sucker. Think he has a limit?
I don't know. I don't think he does. If it's just, I think it's part of his job. He works in the sports information department for the Mariners. Part of his job is to come up with fun factoids they can put in their game notes.
Okay. All right. Well, I
didn't know. I just didn't know that would be a trigger for you. That would bother you.
Well, it doesn't really bother me, but it makes me stop and think. God, did I need to know that? Yeah, I suppose. What were you saying? Bobby Jones was the last time?
Well, that's what he came up with. Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones back in 2000.
Bobby Jones played for the Sixers. That's the Bobby Jones I think of.
Yeah, well,
do you remember Bobby Jones with the Sixers?
I do not. I do not remember Bobby Jones with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Was he good?
He was heck of a player. Bobby Jones was. Okay, here's what I'm thinking of. Like, I'm not thinking to myself, I didn't wake up this morning going, hey, man, I wonder, when the last time a guy named Luis Castillo pitched a game where there was another Luis Castillo on the roster. I didn't think about that. Here's what I thought about from a gambling perspective. How about, some guy's back in Philadelphia and he's going, shit, man, I want to get some action on the Mariners Giants today. Let me look at the line. And it's like plus 180 or whatever, Verlander against Castillo. And you're thinking, well, shit, Luis Castillo is a hell of a pitcher, man. I'll take him at plus 180. And then he plunks down $100 thinking, God, I might win 180 today. And then watches the game and sees this young kid that just happens to have the same name as The Rock. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, someone's going to get fooled today trying to bet on the game thinking, oh, God, Jesus. But you know what? The true, some idiot's going to get is going to get screwed over. I mean, the true gamblers, they're going to be smart enough to realize it's not the same Luis Castillo. But yeah, someone's going to get duped for sure. Someone's going to get duped a lot on that one.
Yeah, I would think so. But like I'm saying though, it'll be just like the other day where it looks like the Mariners have no chance whatsoever with this. I can tell the delay is working really well, isn't it? It's just working really well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is going to be a game where you think Verlander against this kid named Castillo coming up. They've got no chance whatsoever, and you watch. It'll be a one-run game down to the end.
You never know. You never know. Hey, we've got the Masters. I got it on the rundown. The Masters, of course, we love the Masters. Is almost here. It starts next week. It's the best event possibly in the history of all sporting events, at least according to me. We've got Puck the Picker Majors Pool. It is up and running right now. Go to pucksports.com to sign up. Be a part of the Puck the Picker Majors Pool. Season-long golf contest, Jim. You got to pick 2 golfers there in every major. Now, the key is you cannot pick the same 2 golfers in the majors, in each of the majors. So no repeat picks. So the lowest cum score for the 4 majors is the winner. As Pat Summerall standing on the 13th hole, par 5, 475 yards. I don't believe it's 475 yards anymore, Pat. I think it's a little longer now. But I can't remember the exact distance anymore. Now, here we go. First place prize for the season-long Puck the Picker Majors Pool. First place prize is a one-night stay, 2 rounds of golf at Gamble Sands for a twosome. Second place is a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club, where this guy, me, once worked back in the day, cleaning clubs, and it was a caddy carrying and schlepping bags around and picking up range balls. Third place is whatever you just did, stop that. Third place is a foursome at the Mill Creek Country Club. And fourth place is a foursome at one of Troon's Seattle Premier courses, plus an hour of the Top Tracer range session at either Inner Bay, Jackson, or Bill Wright Golf Course, formerly of Jefferson Park. All you got to do is go to pucksports.com to sign up and register. The full field, by the way, Jim, will not be released until Sunday. So if you go there now and like, hey, I want to pick my players, well, you can't pick them yet because the field hasn't been decided. But there you go. All you got to do is right there is go to pucksports.com. Sorry for the music stopping. My fault. Go to the pucksports.com, sign up and register today. All you got to do is just click on the old website there. You see Puck the Picker Majors Pool. Sign up, click on that one. It says learn more. How about that? You go learn more, and then you know what you do after that, Jim? You hit join now, and it's going to take you to the site where you're going to make your picks at Sandman Sports. You just click join the Puck the Picker Majors Pool. Put in some information, just your first name, last name, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually when the field gets released on Sunday, you'll make your pick. So there you go. Puck the Picker Majors Pool is back. Season-long golf contest. You pick 2 golfers in every major. No repeat picks. Masters, PGA Championship, U.S. Open, and Open Championship. And again, no one's got a better prize package than this. First place is a night stay, 2 rounds of golf at Gamble Sands Golf Course. Second place, a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club. Third place, a foursome at Mill Creek Country Club. And fourth place, a foursome at Troon's Seattle Premier courses, plus Top Tracer, an hour session there. All the information up at pucksports.com. You said last week or last time we talked, you're going to take Scotty Scheffler and Joe Highsmith. Are we staying with those 2 picks?
Yeah, we are. But, as a golf handicapper, you and I, we do it every week. We try and pick winners in the tournament. Like the Valero Texas Open, I've got Corey Connors and Victor Perez this week, and they're not doing well. And what I'll say is a suggestion for anyone who enters your contest. By the way, can I offer the possibility of a fifth place?
Yeah. What is it?
To play golf with you and me at the home course.
Yeah. I don't think anybody wants that.
You don't think anybody want to do that? Nobody want to play golf with you and me?
Yeah. No.
I think there'd be people that would intentionally try to not get 4th place and would want to get 5th place so they could, hang out with 4 hours with us there at the home course and just, shoot the shit and have a few beers. No?
Yeah. Well, it's too late. If you want to come with him, sir, it's too late. The price, the package is already up there.
Oh,
I
it's
can't change it
too
now.
late. It's
Yeah.
too
Can't add it now. I've already just promoted it. How about 2 weeks ago you come up with this idea, you dumbass?
Well, I don't know. God, I'm just doing it off the cuff here. Okay, anyway, back to what I'm going to suggest
How
people
about you
do.
just play golf with somebody? You just choose somebody. You can play golf with them.
Okay, all right. Here's what I'm going to suggest you do before you enter the contest: is that you just go to a local bar that has a dartboard, and you
Yeah.
you print off the field for the Masters, and you put you Velcro it to the dartboard. You go back to where you throw the darts from. You blindfold yourself and you throw the darts twice at the dartboard, and whoever it hits on the field, that's who you're going to pick for the contest.
I agree.
Because if you try and research it like I do every week, it's like going to the horse races trying to figure out who's going to win the race. So that's my suggestion, and I think you should give it a try.
Okay. I'm going to adhere to that there as well. I will, because I'm the worst at this, and I think I know golf, but I do not, and I have no idea who I'm going to take in the Masters. Well, I probably do, but I would probably lean towards Scheffler and Koepka.
Yeah, I don't think Scotty's all the way back yet.
Mm. He wasn't bad last week or 2 weeks ago.
No, but
fine.
Last year going into the Masters, you thought, God, Scotty's clearly the class of the field, and I think he's still the class of the field. I don't think it's as clearly as it was last year though, because he's coming back from that kitchen injury, whatever he had, and I don't think he's quite the Scotty that he was last year yet.
The made-up kitchen. What did he claim? That he cut himself making dinner?
Yeah, we never believe those stories, though, do we?
I do not believe those stories, including the latest one in baseball with Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman has landed on the IL with a sprained ankle, claiming he slipped in the shower.
Okay. I will say this: I'm going to give Freddie Freeman the benefit of the doubt, because as I've gotten older and I've had knee injuries, I get a little nervous in the shower sometimes. I got to make sure I've got that little mat down there with the suction cups, and even then I'm not too sure about it when I get in there. And once the shower is over, I think older people that have knee injuries can relate to this. Once the shower is over and I get out on the bath mat and I'm drying myself off, I'm like, thank you, Jesus, I didn't fall in the damn bathtub. So I'm going to give, even though Freddie Freeman's 30 years younger than me, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that, because I think we've all, no matter what age you are, I think we all have at some point had some sort of near slippage, fall, whatever, in a bathtub when the shower's going. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, 100% right. But let's go back. He's 30 years younger. He's in his 30s. He's an elite athlete. Come on.
Yeah, but that doesn't. But if the tub is slippery, it's going to affect anybody, no matter who the hell you are. I mean, name the best gymnast in the world. I bet you she's like slipped and nearly cracked her head on the tile.
But generally, the tub or the shower is slippery because one doesn't clean it. I find it hard that a major league professional baseball player worth millions of dollars doesn't have a cleaning crew, probably once or twice a week, coming in there and cleaning said bathroom. And I'm just saying, a guy that lands on the IL with a severely sprained ankle, I don't buy it. He didn't slip in the shower.
No, come on, man. Like, let's say he was in a hotel room on the road or whatever, so they had just cleaned the tub. It can be slippery out there because they just used the cleaning chemicals, and it's just the residue from the cleaning chemicals. I would argue that if it's kind of scummy and dirty, that would offer more traction than if you just had the tub cleaned.
How do you roll your ankle if you slip in the shower? Explain that to me. It's not even physically possible. It's not.
Okay, well, let's say it's a bogus injury, reason why he got hurt. What do you come up with? Like, if you're with the Dodgers, and you're in the meeting room and you're thinking, God, we can't say he was hammered and fell on a curb in New Orleans or whatever.
But that's what I want to hear. That's why I want to hear that. Freddie's on the IL. He was After celebrating our seventh straight victory to start the season and Ohtani hitting a grand slam or a walk-off home run, Freddie Freeman decided to go to the local Dodger outpost after the game. It's a local watering hole where he proceeded to buy the entire bar a round of drinks, and he was doing body shots off co-heads. Freddie got so shit-faced that when he was walking out of the Dodger outpost bar and restaurant, the curb was very steep, and he was too drunk and he fell down and he twisted his ankle. He'll be on the IL. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the truth.
I think that'd be great if they did offer the truth like that, because he'd be more relatable. We'd all be going like, oh shit, I was in Pullman one night and I did the same type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I don't know why they have to cover things up like that. If a guy's hammered and it happens, we can relate to that.
Yeah. Just think about if you slip in the shower. Let me ask you this. If you've slipped in the shower, what are you concerned about injuring when you slip in the shower?
Well, God, at this point in my life, every damn thing.
But just what are the body parts?
One time down in Arizona. Huh?
What are the body parts that you're...
My knee, my ankle, my head. I slipped in my mom's house 10 years ago when I was still, somewhat mobile. And the back of my head hit the tile so hard that the tile broke. Concussion. Who knows? There's all kinds of things that can happen.
You're worried.
I'm at a point now, Puck. Huh?
You're worried about your head, your elbow, your back, your butt. You're not worried about rolling your ankle when you slip in the shower. Think about it. How do you roll your ankle when you slip? You can't. It's not possible. It's just not.
Well, okay, if you were covering the Dodgers, would you be asking those questions?
For fun, yeah. I mean, they're undefeated, so there's really nothing else to talk about, and they're beating the shit out of everybody. I'd be like, hey, Roberts, could you guys not have come up with a better lie for Freddie Freeman? Yeah.
Okay, here's the point I am in my life right now. I'm really happy that our house has 2 walk-in showers where you don't have to go over the bathtub to get in. You just walk into the damn thing. And so you don't, that's one thing you avoid, where you're like going, okay, you should see me get in the hot tub. I'm like 80 trying to get in the damn hot tub.
God, I mean, boy, this Brian Turner at Clean Streak must be paying you a lot of money. Guys, he's got 2 showers with 2 separate walk-ins, and we just had to learn about the horror is to get into his hot tub in his brand new house that's like 2,800 square feet in Bend, Oregon. Man, times are rough for you.
I'll tell you, it was freaking beautiful last night too, because I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go naked tonight, and hopefully the neighbors won't see my fat ass.
Oh my God.
But down to 212 pounds, so I'm pretty proud of that right now. I haven't been 212 in a while. I managed to get in the hot tub. I had my red Solo cup with a... Wait, I'm on a delay, but don't interrupt me. I can even tell you're interrupting me even on the damn delay. Had the red Solo cup with the tequila, the margarita mix. God, I was living life last night.
Yeah. Can you invest in some better internet, you think, with all this money? Maybe not a hot tub, maybe some better internet? Is that possible? Or
what? I mean, okay, what if I got better internet? I'd have to pay more money for it. I'm pretty much broke now that I've got the hot tub and the 2 walk-in showers and the house that we bought.
Maybe you don't need the walk-in 2 showers and a hot tub. Maybe you just need better internet.
When you're 67, you're going to need the walk-in shower. Trust me. I mean, you don't look the picture of shape even at 49.
Yeah, better shape than you. I'll tell you that.
Are you sure about that?
100%. I play basketball every week. I'd run fucking circles around you on the basketball court.
Well, okay, I think you would.
Yeah.
But you're not going to beat me in a game of horse.
Easily. I'd fucking crush you in horse. It wouldn't even be... you're
not going to beat me in a game of horse.
Guaranteed.
And you know what? You should be embarrassed. I mean, you have a better golf swing than I do. But I know that I can still outdrive you.
That's not true. You said that. It's not true.
I'm 20 years older than you, and I can still outdrive.
You've never once even competed with me on the golf course, but you keep lying to yourself about that.
The one day I played with you on the golf course, it has
Yeah.
been 2 days, but the
Yeah.
one day when it really counted at the
Yeah.
Maple Valley Open,
Yeah.
I was good and you were horse shit.
Yeah. That's a scramble, though. That doesn't count.
Am I right?
I was not good. No. No, it was not good.
Admit that I
Just like
was.
your internet is not good. I'll play you in a game of horse for $1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000. I will so wipe the floor with you. It won't even be funny.
Let's.
Uh,
Can we go
Name
100?
whatever you want. Sure, 100. We'll do it when I come down there Memorial
100.
Day in Bend. Find the hoop. Hell, I'll play left-handed if you want.
You should have seen me at Redmond in 74, man. I was a threat off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. How much of a threat off the bench?
I scored 7 points in my whole year. God,
Came
I made a two from the top of the circle though in garbage time at Mercer Island that I think Ed Peppel, well, if he were still around, he'd be talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did it in front of Ed Peppel. I thought that was pretty cool.
Damn right it is. Hey, do you want to hear voicemails before you leave?
Do you want me to?
Well, it's up to you. We can play them if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we only have 2, so it's good. Only 2 voicemails here today on the show. Before we cut Jim loose here, if I can find the voicemails that I put up here somewhere. The voicemails here today here on the Friday show. Before we cut Jim loose, here we go. We got 2 of them, Jim. You're going to hear from Spicoli, okay, and you're going to hear from Gino. Gino was back because he just got paid. Here we go. Friday voicemails.
Hey, my dude, Spicoli, what's going on? I just had to call because the Mariners, man, people give them lots of grief. I go to the park. I love it. I don't need those runs. All I need is some tasty pitching and a cool buzz, bro. It's super sick, nar. I don't need him to do anything else. You know what I mean? All right, good day, gents.
There we go. There's Spicoli. Were you a fan of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or was that kind of past your time a little bit?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I haven't even seen the movie.
Really?
Like
Huh.
when you said Spicoli, I didn't know who we were talking about.
So you don't know this character that we just played. You've never even heard of Spicoli, but you've heard of the movie Fast Times.
I have heard of the movie, but the guy that you flashed up on the screen there, never heard of him.
You don't have an idea of who he is. Wow.
No,
Nope. Go watch it. Watch it. It's a fun movie. You'd like it. All right, last voicemail. Okay. Gino from Dino's.
Gino from Dino's. Getting Vegas drunk since 1962. Well, Gino finally got paid. Let me tell you what it's all about. And one old Gino up there in Alaska, that kid clown coach McDonald, decides old Gino likes playing in warm weather. I'll take a pig out of $7 million. Never have to play in that damn fog up there. Had a mask on. That was anyway. Arg. Ow.
I've just noticed that I think Gino, since he's gone over to the Raiders, sounds a little bit more hammered. Like a lot more hammered. I think we've lost Jim. I think this was finally the moment where we lost Jim. I knew it was going to come eventually, but I think this is it. That was our moment. You know, we got 40 minutes out of him. I mean, really, not really a quality 40 minutes, more like a quality 5 minutes, but there he is. I think he's finally frozen up. Friday voicemails in the book. We do it every single Friday. If you'd like to leave a voicemail, you can go to the website, pucksports.com. And then on the website, there's the telephone number up there. You can leave us a voicemail. You can always just email it to puck@pucksports.com. Friday voicemails. We do it every single Friday. All right, we got the Scout coming up. It's our anonymous Major League Baseball scout. Gives his thoughts on the Mariners and the rest of Major League Baseball. We talk about Emerson Hancock. We talk about torpedo bats. And we get into J.P. Crawford, Mitch Garver, and those guys and kind of the hitting struggles. And Julio Rodriguez. Something that Jim brought up actually this week about Julio Rodriguez. And where do we put him as a superstar? Is he in that, like, top 5 superstars in the game? Is it okay and fair to ask whether he'll ever be there in that category? Before we do that, though, before we do our scout segment, you've probably seen this. If you haven't seen social media yet, I did. They announced it yesterday, and then we've promoted it today, and I'm super happy about this one. That's why it's on the third on the rundown here. Groz with Gas on Puck Sports. So Groz and Gas have been doing, for the last 3 years, they've been doing a show like every Thursday, Twitter Spaces, and they like 5 minutes or so, or no, they like 20 minutes where they've been doing a show where it's just on Twitter Spaces and they're talking. So we've been talking here, and they reached out and they said, hey, we'd like to do kind of something similar to what you're doing, but we're old and we don't want to do all the work. How about you produce it? And I said, yeah, I love the idea. So starting on Monday, we've got Groz with Gas Take 5. It's just them, but it's under the Puck Sports banner and umbrella, and produced here by Puck Sports, which I'm just thrilled. We're taking over the world. We're going to start becoming just a full-on multimedia sports station. And I thought it'd be a great idea. We're going to host their podcast. We're going to produce the podcast, distribute the podcast, and it will just be those two guys who, again, for my money, and I think for a lot of people out there, guys that are probably in my age group, 40 to 50, older, and even for younger people, maybe you haven't heard of the guys, and now you're going to get a chance. To me, it's the best afternoon sports show that was ever done and will ever be done. They influence so many people's careers. They influence my career. I have leaned on these guys for years, ever since working with them starting back in 2003. And I've always looked up to both of them as mentors, as friends, colleagues, and I've always just tried to, what I try to do, and because we all do this. I don't care what job you do, right? You kind of steal from everyone, and you take what you like. I mean, voicemails. We just played it. The voicemails is because of them. And by the way, I asked their permission to use it. So, I've taken a lot from both Gas and Groz and how they go about doing their shows. But I've taken from everyone. Mitch, we've talked about that, and Softy. Well, not so much with Softy. Not really much. But all those guys. I grew up listening to them, or not really grew up listening to them, but from late in high school or in college, and they always wanted to work there and interned there, and then had a chance to work with those guys. And they're as great as they are on the air. When you heard them back in the day, they're even just better people off the air. And they are who they are. And what I've always loved about them is they never got trapped in radio, and sports talk was different back then anyways. But still to this day, they just don't get trapped into the football. You ask a question, I respond, which to me is the most boring sports talk in the world. And it's cookie cutter, all of it. Producer reads a question to the host answers it, and the producer gives a fake laugh. It's just, it's the absolute worst. And that's not them. So starting on Monday, new episodes will drop every Monday. Probably, I want to give a firm time. I would say about around noon. Around noon, new episodes of Groz with Gas Take 5. You can find it on YouTube. Just search Groz with Gas Take 5. Search it on your favorite podcast platform. Should be up on Apple soon. Apple has a little bit longer process it goes through. It's up on Spotify, and it's up on every other podcast platform as we speak. And you can always find their episodes, both the video and audio, up at pucksports.com. Just go under the drop-down menu, weekly guests, and you'll see it there. In fact, I'll just even show it to you while we're here and why I have you. If you just go to the website, it's, again, pretty self-explanatory. You go under weekly guests, boom, there it is. There they are. Same with Stretch and Sandmeyer, the sports pit. They're there as well. You just click on Groz with Gas. There you go. There's their first episode, which is a promo. We got the video of them. That's the classic picture. And then the audio is there as well. So what I thought I would do is give you a little taste of what you're going to get. They recorded their, quote, first show. It's not really their first show. Just a promo of what they're going to do, but super excited. The growing empire of Puck Sports. At least that's what I tell myself. But Groz with Gas, Take 5, first episode coming out Mondays, which is produced here by Puck Sports and pucksports.com.
Hey, we're good. We're on. All right.
Dave Grosby, what a surprise. I wasn't expecting to see you here.
What are you talking about, man? You've been seeing me here for 35 years now almost, for crying out loud.
It's true, and the legend is going to continue. I think it's 3 years ago this September that you called me and said, we talk on the phone all the time like a couple of teenagers, giggle and say stupid stuff. Why don't we start doing it publicly again? And we used the Twitter Spaces platform for a while, which was good because of its simplicity, but there was no video element, and distribution was a little
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, distribution was not as good as it can be if you get a major media company behind you, and that's what we were hoping would happen, because we don't want to do any work
outside, we get one.
Outside just talking. And as you can say, we were scooped up by a major company.
Yep, we're with Puck Sports now. And I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what this contract he wants me to sign means. I know there was no money involved in it, so I don't think I'm going to sign it. But I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a chance for us to do the voodoo that we do and have done for a long time, still even longer, keeping us alive, basically. We're two old skeletons, two old dinosaurs in the closet, two old men railing at the cloud, in our messy rooms where we're left alone, where our wives don't bear to go, and we're really here just because we're lonely.
Yeah. The sweatshirt behind me I wore the very last day we did the show on KJR, and I haven't washed it since. It's just been sitting back there for 15 years. But I both of us admired Jason Puckett leaving the broadcasting business, going out on his own, and he's built this platform. It's really he's done a show. He does it every day. He's got all kinds of guests, and we both admired it, and we both saw a chance to say, well, if we can get him to help us distribute this, again, it's less work for us and a bigger platform. It's kind of been our MO forever, right?
Sure, it sure has been, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think, I hope, going forward. You're right. It was 3 years ago. I remember it because it was the day that the week that before Geno Smith made his first start as quarterback for the Seahawks. So it's kind of fitting that as he leaves the Hawks, we leave Spaces and come to Puck Network.
Who's
Sports.
getting the bigger bag, us or Geno?
Geno's getting a pretty big bag from Pete Carroll. Puck is no Pete Carroll. Let's not mistake that. He is no Pete Carroll.
And by the way, he's asked that we refer to him as Mr. Puckett. It's kind of a wrestling thing. He wants to be called Mr. Puckett. So the show, we're going to record every Monday. We'll record in the morning, and then it'll be distributed, I think, around noon. On our very own YouTube channel, in addition to other things. But we've got a YouTube channel now. Groz, how does that make you feel after all these years?
This mug on YouTube? Scared. Very scared.
The big advantage to Twitter Spaces was no video.
Yes,
so
it was. Yes, it was.
We're counting on video not holding us back on this new format. But it starts this Monday, and I'm looking forward to it, Groz. It'll be fun. I'm amazed we've kept it going for 3 years, and I hope we're doing it for another 33 years.
That would be great, and really looking forward to it as well, Mike. And we've always had opinions, and we've got plenty of them as this interesting part of the sports season begins. Masters weekend is coming up. The Mariners are rolling. The draft is coming up. So hockey playoffs are about to start. Basketball playoffs are about to start. It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be sportscasters, trying to regain their past glory and latch on to hope in the form of Puck Sports.
That's what we're doing.
Online.
Latch on to hope with us. It starts this coming Monday, April, whatever it is, and it will be every Monday after that. Groz with Gas, Take 5. distributed exclusively by Mr. Puckett and Puck Sports. I'll see you Monday, pal.
Okay, buddy.
So there it is. Starting on Monday, the Groz with Gas Take 5 podcast will be available at noon, produced here by Puck Sports. Mike Gastineau, Dave Grosby. Again, the best afternoon talk show that the Seattle Sports has ever had. Thrilled that they're going to be doing it. You can follow them. Again, their YouTube channel, Groz with Gas Take 5. Also, search your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Groz with Gas Take 5. And again, everything is up at pucksports.com. Their full webpage will be up there under the weekly guest drop-down menu. So in case you miss anything, you can always go there as well. They'll do about 25 minutes or so, or however long they'll do it every single week. Be sure to give it a follow, watch it, listen to it. If you're new to them, you're gonna what? It's gonna be a pleasant surprise. But for a lot of you, I mean, you guys all know who they are and just how great they've been over the years covering Seattle sports. They're just two of the very, very best that have ever done sports talk. And so we are just super happy and thrilled that they're now under the Puck Sports family and pucksports.com. Again, new episodes every Monday coming out at noon. It's no lie. Somebody's like, well, it's competing with you at noon. It's not. There's no First of all, if we were to compete head-to-head, who do you think is going to win that one? Me or two of those two? some putts or two Seattle sports legends. I don't think it's going to be a fair fight. No live show, just always a podcast, always up on YouTube. And again, all your podcast platforms. Groz with Gas, Take 5. First episode comes out Monday on all channels and at pucksports.com. All right. Every Friday, again, reminder, no Chris Egan today. He's off. He'll be back with us next week. We wrap up our Friday, though. Well, we'll do Hey, What the Puck at the end. But we wrap up our Friday with our Friday guest, The Scout. The Scout, if you're new to this, The Scout is a current Major League Baseball scout with a very prominent organization, 30-plus years in covering baseball, coaching baseball, has been around the sport his entire life. We bring him on every single week to take you behind the scenes on the Mariners, on baseball, to get the very latest. On this week's episode, we talk about Emerson Hancock, the struggles of Mitch Garver and J.P. Crawford, thoughts on Julio Rodriguez, torpedo bats, all of it on this week's edition of The Scout. Time for The Scout, which is the real scoop on the Mariners and baseball from our anonymous baseball scout who currently works for a Major League Baseball team, has been covering the sport for the past 30 years. We do this every single Friday, The Scout, here on pucksports.com. Good morning to you, Scout. How are you?
I'm great, Puck. How you doing today?
We're doing good. All right, we've got a week into the season so far for Major League Baseball and the Mariners. Let's just do an overview right now of the Mariners, and maybe from a scout's perspective, just get your thoughts on where they stand a week into the season.
Well, I mean, I think you probably stand where you projected it to be. I mean, I think people hope that the offense would be better, and it probably hasn't shown a lot of that. And you knew that they would pitch, so kind of where they're at. But baseball's a 162 game season, and it's such a small sample size. I wouldn't look too deep into it, but there is a history of what they've done. So it's kind of, I'm assuming some people think that's what they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the hard thing from a lot of fans, Scout, is the carryover of what you've seen the past 2 years or past 3 years, where it's the same issues that they have seen and they've have not addressed, that is carrying over into this season. I think that's what's led to the most frustration.
Yeah, I mean, I can say from a Northwest Mariners fan perspective, people want to spend money and buy big bats and those types of things, and obviously there's no guarantees if you go out and sign a big free agent that you're going to score more runs, but it gives you the people to dream a little bit. Right now it's kind of a little bit tough to dream because, like I said, with the history that's went on the last couple of years.
Do you guys, from a scout's point of view, have you changed the way that you look at offensive players and how they approach the plate? I mean, what's the difference now? I mean, we've seen it come back a little bit, but the strikeout rates are, through the roof. And I'm just wondering how much of it, Scout, is from how players attack offensively at the plate, and then how much of it is because of the pitchers they are facing. They're just throwing so much more gas than they ever did before.
Well, there's a combination. First and foremost, I think it starts with the pitching. The pitching is fantastic. And starters are so much different now. They're airing it out because they're, if you have 5 innings at a start, they're, the big league starters are feeling pretty. Not all of them, but they're feeling good about that. 30 years ago, there's certain guys they wouldn't come out unless it was the 8th or 9th inning. So, they're coming out shorter. But then the bullpens are more powerful. Like all teams are going to have 2 or 3 guys at the back end of the rotation or the back end of the bullpen throwing close to 100 miles an hour. So that's one. 2 is, the game's about home runs, and it's about putting, butts in the seats, and players get paid to hit it over the fence, right? Players don't get paid to hit singles. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a swing to hit home runs. So, and that's not a lot for, that doesn't bode well for contact. So combination of really, really great pitching, people trying to hit the ball over the fence, not playing the small game anymore and really putting the ball in play. And then the owner's paying guys to hit it over the fence. It's a bad recipe for maybe the Kansas City Royals back in the day, or the St. Louis Cardinals guys when we were running and causing havoc on the base pass and making teams play defense. Nobody really does that anymore.
You think that's a lost art? You think it's lost forever, or do you still think there's a place in the game for that?
I don't think it's lost forever. There's a place, but I just I don't think there's a huge place for it, but there is a place.
Do you think there ever, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but just bear with me here. Do you think there's ever a time, or can you envision baseball? We see changes all the time in different sports based on players getting bigger, faster, stronger. Do you think there's going to be a time where they move the mound back?
You know what? It's funny. I had that conversation the other day with a player, and the other question was, well, if they're not going to raise the rim in basketball, why would they move the rubber back?
Yeah.
Because think about this. Bill Russell, maybe the greatest defender in the history of the NBA, and won all those titles. And literally, LeBron James is bigger than Bill Russell. Yeah. By a large mark, right? So obviously the average height of an NBA player and size is so much bigger, and they haven't changed it. Same thing with the pitching; they're throwing so much harder. I just can't see that happening. But I guess you should never say never.
Okay, give me a thought on the topic that has been all across Major League Baseball in the first week of the season. Then we'll get in to some specifics here on the Mariners. I want to talk about Emerson Hancock. I want to get up to speed on what you're seeing with J.P. Crawford and Mitch Garver, Julio, Troy Taylor, Matt Brash, and a bunch of other things with the Mariners. Torpedo bats. When did the torpedo bats first come on the scouts' radar?
Yeah, you've seen them before. I'm a firm believer that it's not necessarily, it's what's the old saying? It's it's not the wand of the conductor; it's the conductor.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think if you saw a bunch of guys that weren't offensive players and have no home run type power, and they use that torpedo bat and they start hitting a bunch of home runs, you might want to, think again. But I think it's kind of really too early to tell on that, I think. But there's always, the flavor of the week when it comes to the player. There's always the new gadget of the week. But, if it's effective over a long period of time with a bigger sample size of players, I'm quite sure it'll be used a lot.
And I was thinking about it. I think, what do you think about this? If it gives the hitter maybe a mental advantage, do you see the benefit in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about baseball is the only sport that you're ever really going to play when you're on offense and you don't have the ball, right? So you're already on your heels a little bit. So as an offensive player, you need to figure out every advantage that you can. You don't know what pitch is coming. The pitcher's higher than you. You don't know what's coming. There's a million disadvantages going against the hitter. That's why they get paid so handsomely. You can fail, 73% of the time right now and still get paid millions of dollars. So yeah, like I said, any advantage you can get for the hitter, I think they should take it.
Emerson Hancock, who was filling in for George Kirby to start this season, he gets roughed up in his first outing, Scout, and then they promptly ship him back down to Tacoma. There's just been this big debate, I think, along with a lot of Mariner fans in the Mariner fans community about, well, maybe it just really isn't that good, or was it bad luck in that first start that he had? What do you see from Emerson Hancock? Do you expect him to be down there for a long period of time, or do you expect him back up here? And can he be a guy that can be a fifth starter long term, whether it's with the Mariners or somebody else up in the majors?
I've always thought, Puck, that they would bring him up just to kind of showcase him for the rest of MLB. Hancock's a quality arm. He's a fifth starter. He's not a top of the end rotation. He's that fifth type starter. He'd be a fifth starter if, let's say, you couldn't get some of that other pitching signed, right? But a lot of people think, hey, he would tick up in the bullpen. Well, they've got those good bullpen arms coming back. You've already talked about Taylor and Brash. So I've always thought with the pitching that they have, I thought that he would be trade bait. I thought he would be the type of guy that they would package with somebody else to get that offensive player, because he is a guy that can pitch in a rotation in the big leagues. He just probably doesn't fit in the Mariners' big league rotation because how quality their rotation is.
What is he missing? Anything?
It's just, you hate to say a number 5 in the rotation is vanilla, but he's got good stuff. It's not great. It's good. He's got good stuff. There's no wow. He just has to, when his command goes the other way at all, he doesn't have a ton of room for error with his stuff. Right? When you talk about some of the other guys in the rotation, sometimes the guy's going to have a big time wipeout swing and miss pitch like Castillo's slider, or, Brash's, Woo's fastball, right? There's just certain pitches. He just has quality pitches, and he has to have really, really good command to make sure that those all work for him.
What are you seeing early on in the season? We touched on this before, and yes, it is early, but it can be a carryover from a year ago. Early on, thoughts on J.P. Crawford and Mitch Garver. Let's start with Crawford first.
Well, he's 32, and he's a 240 career hitter. You can't expect, and he plays shortstop. That's a grinding position, right? Kind of like catching in a way, where at 30, 32 years old, career 240 hitter coming off a 200 season. What are your true expectations as a fan, right? As a coach, I don't know if those types of guys have bounce back seasons. So I think it's early it's too early for his numbers right now, but I don't expect a guy like J.P. Crawford to hit above 240. I think he's going to be that guy that hits 225 to 230. And if it's a great defense, with that type of pitching that they have, you might accept that when it comes to, your club. But I know as a fan, you look at those numbers, and those aren't not the numbers that you want.
Especially the way that position is being played now in the last, 5 to 10 years. All right. So, but with him did he make a mistake trying to chase power like everybody else?
No, I don't know. Because I don't think it's fair to judge others, but I wouldn't, he's the type of guy that it should be contact over power, and the power usually comes as you get older and stronger. I've never, anytime I've had to evaluate JP and watch him play, I've never thought that was his game. So from my perspective, I wouldn't be betting on the power, but once again, that's how they get paid, right? That's how they get paid, and you can't really blame players for
and it
for
worked.
Thinking about
it worked in his case. It did. He had the year, and then he got paid. It did.
Yeah,
it did
absolutely.
Work
That's what happens. So it's just it's hard to tell guys not to do that when it's life changing.
Yeah, I went to the game the other day, Scout, and I was sitting, had great seats, was able to be real close, and I was up close and personal watching Mitch Garver caught the game, and he did a fine job catching the game. But at the plate, he just seems just absolutely lost. He struck out, I want to think 3 times, and it must have been on a total of maybe 11 pitches, and it just nothing felt competitive to him. He talked about his struggles last year, dealing with the pressure, coming over to a new team, contract, trying to live up to it. It seems like his struggles from a year ago, Scout, are carried over. So you're seeing the same things that we all saw last year that carry over to now?
Yeah, you have all those pressures that you talked about are still there, and he's a year older. And, we talked about JP being a 240 career hitter. Mitch Garver's still a 230 career hitter. He hasn't had a big season, 270 in quite a while. So it's just, the numbers will average out. But once again, the kind of the numbers we talked about JP, I expect Garver to have those same type of numbers, but a little bit less. So you kind of, Father Time catches up to all of us, and I think guys like that in particular, that Father Time has caught up a little bit. Especially, you've caught in the past. You're once again, you're not talking about a DH. You're not talking about a guy in left field. We're talking about a guy that's played shortstop his entire career, a guy that's catching, it has caught in his career. So it's taxing on your body, and it all catches up to you.
The switching gears now over to Julio. My partner in crime here, Jim Moore, I think it was a few days ago, and had asked me this question. And again, I think you'll get a number of reactions from people on this one. And I thought what he brought up was fair. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I thought the premise of it was fair. And I think it's too early to debate now, but I think down the road, I think it will be a conversation. And it was, the question that he asked was, are we sure that Julio is going to be the true superstar like we all think? And when we say superstar, we're talking on the levels of Mike Trout, Ohtani to a degree. Someone who's the face of baseball. When we say superstar, kind of the face of the game. And I'm just wondering, is that fair to ask now, and is it fair to ponder in the future with him?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, I think it's fair also because you paid him that contract. So when you pay somebody like that and you start paying him early, eventually, trust me, his contract eventually won't look like it's out of line just because of how the salaries increase. But I think it is fair because I think he's one of the top 10 players in baseball. I think he'll have a great year. I think he's the type of guy that might be up for the MVP this year. I truly believe that. He'll need some help. He'll need some help from guys on his club, but he is a Mike Trout type talent. But when you talk about, I think maybe the only part I would call unfair is Trout and Ohtani. Trout, okay, barring some injuries, might be the best player in baseball in the last 15 years, arguably.
Yeah.
And if Ohtani somehow keeps doing what he's doing, is he the best player in the history of the baseball?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like what he's doing is just absurd. But so I think those guys are first ballot elite Hall of Famers. I think that Julio might just be a tick below those guys, but I think he's a star. I think he's worth every penny. I think he's just now getting to his prime at 24 years old. I think the next 6 years, you're going to, year in and year out, you're going to see one of the best guys in baseball. But don't forget this, nobody's put up great numbers in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. So once again, now you're also asking someone to put up numbers in a ballpark that no one's ever done it.
Well, and I think you're right. I think it is unfair. I mean, the two names I brought up, you can have the real argument, the best players in the history of the sport. I mean, I think where would you put him in the tier of what? Still a superstar, but not like that level.
Yeah, and not to this point. I mean, think about the greatest center fielder we have. I don't think he's in Ken Griffey's category. But I think that at the end of 6 years, when he's 30 years old, I think he's going to be considered, right up with you're talking to Randy and Felix and Edgar and Ken, all those great Mariner great, the greatest of all time. He's going to be on the Mount Rushmore of Seattle baseball.
Do you think he's, from an MLB standpoint, I was just thinking of two guys. Should he be on the level of, let's say a Fernando Tatis, a Bryce Harper, a Bobby Witt, like that?
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys. I mean, like I said, he's 24 years old. There's been the weight of the world since the contract. And we started off the podcast by talking about no offense. So when there's no offense, it solely just, it lays on his shoulders. You look at all those other clubs, all those other guys we're talking about, they've got good players around them too as well. So I think he needs a little bit of help too to become the offensive player that he needs to be. I've never seen a guy that put up tremendous numbers was always on a bad team.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that before. So I think it's unfair to him a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. All right. As we get close to wrapping up, let's talk about you just mentioned help. Help is on the way for a bullpen that is good now, and it's going to get even better here soon. Matt Brash should be with the team here in probably a few weeks. And then Troy Taylor is close to getting back. We're talking about guys that throw in the upper 90s, got nasty stuff now to go along with Andres Munoz. Gabe Spire has been fantastic to start this season. Gregory Santos has been fantastic as well. What do Brash? I mean, I know what they bring, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear you say it. What does Brash and Troy Taylor bring to the table?
Well, they just both got electric stuff, right? And they're a little bit different, but it's big velo. And once again, you're going to worry a little bit about coming back from injury, right? You're always you're always going to have that worry. But all of a sudden now, when you lengthen that bullpen, they're going to have 5-6 arms at the back end of that pen that could actually finish a game, even though you're going to give the ball to Munoz. But you probably have 4 or 5 guys in that back in that pen that they, other teams would feel really comfortable on, right? So, it's just, they're going to get great starting pitching because they have it. But when you add those guys back and you do have a hiccup on the mound, you don't have a great start, you're going to be able to bridge the game really quickly. So like I said, you gotta worry, if they can come back healthy. But at times, when Brash first got up, people are talking about this guy as a front end number 1, number 2, maybe he's a closer, and you're just looking at him in like a setup role. So it almost kind of reminds me back in the day, because people forget, like back in the day when the Yankees were rolling, Rivera set up to get to Wetland. Right. So, then he obviously became Mariano Rivera. I mean, Brash has been the guy that was going to have it at the end of the game. You get the ball to Taylor, to Brash, to Munoz. Man, oh man, you got not only we talked about the starting pitching that is fantastic that they put together. Now you're talking about one of the better bullpens as well.
Well, and Scout, think about this for a second. I mean, they've got potentially 4 closers on that team in that bullpen.
Oh yeah.
When you think of Munoz, Brash, Troy Taylor can be that, and then I think Gabe Spire could.
No question. Yeah, they have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the bullpen too. So pitching is not the issue. They have so much pitching that's where I see, the Hancocks of the world and maybe a couple bats, especially if the Mariners can go on a little bit of a run. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some, in-season trading for a real bat, especially if their offense doesn't get going more to a team that maybe can't get the guy signed, right? Because Mariners are in that situation too. They're kind of a rent player. And if you listen to Jerry talk, he doesn't want to rent players. I don't blame him. Like I said, you hate giving up great assets for, a short period of time, but I could see that happening if there's a chance to win a World Series.
Let me ask you this. I know they're never going to do this. And I'll be honest with you, I think I wouldn't do it either. Would Rafael Devers be available? And do you think Devers can turn it around in a new situation?
Think about, as I would look at the history of the Mariners in the field, has anybody ever came to that ballpark and turned around their career offensively?
No.
It's never happened. So I'm not saying it can't, but I would have serious, not that he's can't be a great player, but I'm not sure if that's the ballpark for him.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. All right, Scout. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy watching baseball, and we'll reconvene a week from today. The Scout with us every Friday, talking Mariners, talking Major League Baseball. The Scout Anonymous, Major League Baseball Scout, 30+ years in the business, exclusively here every Friday with us here at Puck Sports and pucksports.com. Thanks, Scout. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Buck.
There it is, the Scout with us again every Friday, anonymous Major League Baseball Scout, as I just said right there, who spends about 20 minutes with us every single Friday, giving you his thoughts from a Scout's perspective on the Mariners and the rest of baseball. Interesting, thoughts there on Emerson Hancock, and I don't think it's disrespectful for what he said or what others have said about Hancock. Hell, there's nothing wrong with being a 5th starter on a Major League Baseball team. But I don't think that the jury is out on what Emerson Hancock can or will be. It's just unfair, really, for him because of the comparison that he has to the rest of those guys there in that rotation. Hey, real quick before we get to Hey, What the Puck, I've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it one more time. Of course, near and dear to my heart is it's just all things Ballard, by the way, including Ballard High School. The Ballard baseball team, mentioned this again, they're trying to, for the 13th year, compete, in the High School Baseball Classic, which a number of teams will be able to play at T-Mobile Park. They got to sell 1,000 tickets. If you are a former Ballard resident, live in Ballard, just want to support, want to go to a game, again, they are selling tickets for the April 26th game, so it's coming up real soon against the Marlins. First pitch is at 6:40, and again, all proceeds will go to, well, it goes to the Mariners, but it goes to the Ballard baseball program and their ability to go and play in this game one more time. They got to sell 1,000 tickets. If you are interested in purchasing the tickets and helping out these high school kids, so you can send an email to their head coach, Doug Montgomery, who's got a big game tonight. We'll get to it in a second. Ballard Beavers Baseball at gmail.com. It's up on Instagram, too. You can follow the Ballard Booster Club. But Ballard Beavers Baseball at gmail.com. And so you can go there, help those guys out. Hopefully they can play again. They got a big game tonight taking on the Ingram Rams, just a heavyweight little matchup between two very good baseball programs in the Metro, led by two great coaches, Doug Montgomery, the head coach at Ballard, and Tim Lee, the head coach there at Ingram. And Tim used to be an assistant coach at Ballard. Two fine programs, play the right way, two great coaches who coach it the right way. So he kind of Switzerland tonight, but I've got, sorry, Tim, I've got to put the Ballard hat on tonight. And a shout out, I did this on social media, but shout out to the entire team at Ballard this week. They avenged a loss, sorry, Furness, to the O'Day Fighting Irish. They lost earlier this week 1-0. They came back 2 days later to defeat O'Day 4-0. And they did so with a no-hitter by Aiden DePaula. So shout out to senior Aiden DePaula, who threw a no-hitter against O'Day. It was the first time that the Irish had been no-hit in 27 years. So Aiden DePaula, you may have heard me mention Aiden DePaula's name before. His youngest brother is on my baseball team, and Aiden was one of our assistant coaches last year for our Ballard 11U All-Star team, helping us out. He's the guy you want. You want your daughter to date him. He's just everything that's right. He's just a great kid, on and off the field, good student, good ball player, just a great guy. And awesome family as well. They were featured actually in the Seattle Times a few months ago. If anyone read that story, the front cover of the paper, they live aboard a sailboat down in Shilshole, which is the marina down in Ballard, and three boys, all baseball crazed. Joel, the middle, he plays baseball at Ballard there as well. He's on the JV team or on the freshman team. So, yeah, cool story. Shout out to the Ballard Beavers taking on Ingram tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch. We'll be there. So just wanted to give them some recognition here before we sign out. And if you want to help support them to play at T-Mobile. And for anybody, if you got another high school, hit me up. I'll promote any high school that's trying to sell tickets to play there. I think it's really, really cool. Okay, let's wrap it up here with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by one of our fine sponsors. That would be Restoration One there of North Seattle, which they let you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated, make them your first call when these damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Maybe that helps some people around here. We had a water main break all in our neighborhood in Ballard, and it affects Whitman Middle School, which isn't too far away from me. It's affected the entire North Ballard neighborhood except for one street, and that's the street we live on. I'm laughing because what's the dumb luck in that? The absolute dumb luck. I mean, everyone that lives by me, they can't use their water. They can use it. They got to boil it and all that. Us, we're okay. How'd that happen? I don't know. Dumb luck. This would be karma. Must have been doing something right. All right. Hey, What the Puck? Hey, What the Puck is, God, and I'm a huge fan of this guy as a player. He was a guy I remember when he was coming out of college. I thought he should have been the number one pick. If we were all sitting around drafting a team, for fun, I would have taken him number one over Zion Williamson. But he's also a guy that I just simply does not get it. And it's unfortunate, and it's a problem. And we're talking about John Morant. And I just think for his sake, at some point, not his dad, because his dad's not an adult. His dad's his best, like he's trying to be like his buddy. Someone has got to be an adult with him and get in his ear. And I don't know if it's a situation, can't hurt, get him away from the people he associates himself with. I don't know. But he just doesn't get it. John Moran, if you haven't followed it, he's been fined today by the NBA $75,000 because on multiple occasions this week, he has done a celebration with a finger, arm, hand, gun celebration. And this is something the league has tried to eliminate. This is something the NFL has talked about. I understand those who say, listen, these athletes aren't, you shouldn't, the kids shouldn't be looking up the athletes to get advice and to be role models, the famous Charles Barkley commercial and all that. That's nice to say. It's just simply not true. Kids look up to these guys because they're their heroes, because they're basketball players or they're football players or they're baseball players. We all did. We all looked up to somebody. There becomes a responsibility with that. And some of these guys need to understand that. Yes, 100%, all of the responsibility for kids is on the parents, but they look up to them. And people like John Moran and others need to start understanding that a little bit more. But twice this week, celebrating a play, which for some reason, I guess celebrating play is mimicking shooting a gun. Okay. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. I don't get it. I would never want any of my kids doing that. It's ridiculous. But to each their own, I guess. But it's just, I just want to know what you're celebrating a three or somebody makes a big shot and celebrating by shooting a gun at somebody. Okay. He said, basically didn't apologize for it. Sounds like he's just going to keep doing it because he said he's aware of the criticism that he's been receiving for doing it this week. And now, this is my favorite part. Now John Moran is playing the villain card because I'm a villain, and I'll embrace that. You're a villain because they've suspended you twice, the league. The league has suspended him twice for brandishing a gun on social media. Twice. And everything he said, I think he even went to like a rehab or something for it. Oh, he's learned his lesson. Well, clearly he hasn't learned his lesson because he's acting the same way. He's doing the same thing. And then when he's fined or punished for it, he's not taking any blame for it. He's not saying I was wrong for it. What is he doing? Now he's playing the victim card. Oh, I'm a villain. No, you're just stupid. You're just stupid. That's what you are. You're dumb. And some adult, somebody needs to get through to him. Said this when he went through this gun stuff, on social media. The most tragic ending of this entire story with John Moran is going to be him getting into something with someone would result in someone shooting him. And you are going to, by all accounts, seems like a fine guy, but a terrific basketball player, and a guy that would be another statistic of a 25-year-old shot and killed with the use of a gun. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This guy's got the world in his hands, financial security for the rest of his life, for his family, the rest of their lives, and for his kids' kids. It's done. But he just acts like just an immature idiot. So I hope he figures it out for his sake, because whatever they've done, it just hasn't gotten through to him yet. All right, that's Hey What the Puck, and again, brought to you by Restoration One in North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Big thanks to everyone watching and listening today. Thank you to all the sponsors, Limbeck Lumber, A Clean Streak, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new tavern beer at your local bar, georgetownbeer.com. And, of course, restoration1.com. Visit their website, the North Seattle franchise. Today's Daily Puck Drop up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel when you're there. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on all your favorite podcast platforms and always up at pucksports.com. When you're up at pucksports.com, you will see Puck the Picker Majors Pool. Click on it, sign up, and register through Sandman Pools. The full field will be coming out on Sunday, so you won't see any players or any golfers to pick, but you just need to register first. via the Sandman pools. Again, first place prize is a night stay round for 2 at Gamble Sands Golf Course over in Brewster, Washington. Second place is a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club. Third place is a foursome at Mill Creek Country Club, and a foursome is one of Troon's Seattle premier golf courses around there for 4 of you, plus an hour top tracer range session at one of their Seattle locations. So go sign up today. Full field comes out on Sunday. You'll have until Wednesday, I want to say Wednesday at midnight, to get in all your picks. Also, when you're there at pucksports.com, I encourage you to become a Pucks Posse member. It will give you the full podcast every single week with our MLB insider, Ryan Divish. That's right. Even though Ryan Divish not actively covering the team now that he's on a sabbatical, he still will be with us every single week here at Puck Sports, talking baseball. So, again, you want the full podcast every week with Ryan Divish, you got to become a Pucks Posse member. The full 50 minutes. We always play like a free 20 minutes of it every single week. Also, episode 3, it's coming. There's just been a delay. Sick kids. Dane Brugler from The Athletic, covering the NFL Draft Countdown. That will come out on Monday. And also coming out on Monday, our new podcast here. Myself, Matt Stretch Johnson, and Steve Sandmeyer. I got caught saying Stephen Ernest Sandmeyer, then I just went with Steve Sandmeyer. Our KJR alums, the Sports Pit is released Sunday night for Pucks Posse members. So if you want to get on early, and we'll play, of course, the free version of it coming out on Monday. All of it there, pucksports.com. You get everything we do for free, plus added bonus content, and including now, you get Groz with Gas, Take 5, brand new podcast coming out on Mondays. Those two guys talking sports. I got nothing to do with it other than we're just producing it here. You can find their YouTube channel also on all the podcast platforms, and you can find their show, both the video and audio, up at pucksports.com under the weekly guest drop-down menu. All right, that is it for us. Hopefully everyone has a great Friday. The rest of it, have a great weekend. We will talk to you on Monday. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rob you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!